Amos chapter 9, verse 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will rise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Verse 12. That they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathens which are called by my name, saith the Most High that doeth this.
Okay, and see, this is readdressing what we had already spoken of. It says that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathen which called by my name. In Isaiah 66, we read that it said, those who will not serve thee shall be laid to utter waste. And he's talking about the ruins of David and how they'll be built again. Let's go to Isaiah 60. We're coming back to Amos, but go to Isaiah 60 and 10 real quick. And let's look a little further into these strangers and the rebuilding of David's tabernacle.
Isaiah chapter 60, verse 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee.
And when we see minister, it means serve. Continue.
For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
So this is the Most High speaking to Israel, saying, in my wrath, when I was upset with you, I smote you. But now this is my favor unto you. He's having the strangers to build the walls and the kings of the strangers to serve us. Continue.
Verse 11. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day or night, that man may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles.
And when we see forces, when you look into this word forces, it means the wealth. So when Christ returns in the kingdom of heaven, the 1,000-year reign has been set up. The gates of Israel will not be closed, because the nations will be bringing in continually, day and night, the wealth of the nations. So we'll be on the earth, and they'll be bringing in, whether it be gold or fruit or whatever it is, they'll continually be doing this in service to the children of Israel. Continue.
And that their kings may be brought. Verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
All right. Now let's jump back in Amos chapter 9. Read verse 12 again where we left off.
Amos chapter 9, verse 12. They that may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathens which are called by my name, saith the Most High that doeth this.
Continue.
Verse 13. Behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed. And the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. Verse 14. And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities, and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards, and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens, and eat the fruit of them.
So what we see here is he's turning back the curses that were put on us in Deuteronomy. In Deuteronomy 28, for instance, verse 30, he goes in and it. I'll just read it real quick. It says, "Thou shalt betroth a wife." Now, this is the curses that the Most High had put on us for not following the commandments. "And another man shall lie with her, and thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof." But now here we are in verse 14 of Amos 9 and 14, and it says, "And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them." Now we know in our captivity of man, we built and planted for them to receive the fruit of.
Mm-hmm.
But here, when Christ brings back us to reign again, we will be able to reap from what we from our labors.
Mm-hmm.
This is the turning back of the curses. All right, going to verse 15.
Verse 15. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, saith the Most High, thy power.
And so this is speaking of the restoration of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So this is to show that Israel is not done away with, because these things are speaking of the things that have yet to come, that are still to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And Israel must still be around now for these things to happen to them later.
Mm-hmm.
As I had spoken earlier, Ezekiel, we were in Ezekiel a little bit, and it was talking about how he would put the sticks together to become one again, and how he told him to prophesy over those dry bones. These prophecies that they are, and to prophesy that they are Israel, and that they will wake up, and that they will return to the promised land under Christ's reign and dwell there forever. And this is not because of anything that we have done, that we are so great that the Most High remembers us, but because he promised Abraham that he would do that. And let's look at that real quick, and we'll be rounding up, and we'll be finished for the night. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 5. All of that's the reason that I started this lesson with the promise to Abraham. Because the Most High, he chose us as his people, but he done it because of the faithfulness of Abraham. And he passed down through Abraham, because of Abraham's faithfulness, he passed down to all of his seed and those that come from him a promise. Not because his seed and those that come from him were so great or have done something worthy of that promise, but because the Most High, he's no shorter than his word. If he promised Abraham this, then that's what will transpire. That's what will take place. Deuteronomy 9 and 5.
Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 5. Not for thy righteousness.
This is Israel being spoken to. Not for Israel's righteousness. Continue.
Or for the uprightness of thy heart.
And not for the uprightness of thy heart. Because you'll notice this is in Deuteronomy when the law is being given. Shortly after this, they went against the law. Their heart failed to be righteous. Continue.
Doest thou go to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations, that the Most High thy power doeth drive them out from before thee, and that he may perform the word which the Most High swore unto thy father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
So he's saying, not for your righteousness, not because your heart is so upright, will you go in and possess this land, but because, for one, the people that are possessing the land are wicked. And for two, because I promised your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Continue.
Verse 6. Understand therefore that the Most High thy power giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people.
So to Abraham the promise was made, and through his seed the promise will be fulfilled. The promises have yet to be fulfilled, and in order for them to be fulfilled, Israel must not be done away with. So with that being said, that's the end of today's lesson. But one thing I wanted to end it this way, so that we not get lifted up in pride because we see that we're Israel. And that the Most High has chosen us as a people. But it's nothing that we did. It's because of the promise that he made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so because of that, and knowing who we are, more than anything, more than receiving pride for that, or being lifted up feeling like you're better than someone, this is a call upon our lives. Because the Most High has required of us to wake up Israel. Before we were even born, that was a requirement upon our life. So with that being said, that's the end of today's lesson. Are there any questions or comments? If you're muted, go ahead and unmute your mic, brothers.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
tell Anthony probably called you.
I'm going to introduce my my second cousin.
Okay.
Mr. Stan Starks.
How you doing, Brother Stan?
Shalom, my brother.
Shalom.
Go ahead, Brother Herbert.
I just want to piggyback on some of the things that you said. Excellent teaching. One thing I noticed that you said about the major and minor prophets.
Mm-hmm.
The